Inquiry, which basically resulted in me reporting the problem to City Parks in January.
And then how does this lead to the development of an app? That's a whole new level.
So it's almost it's rare that you find yourself in the middle of a problem at the very beginning, and that's what I really found myself. The information that was available at that time was very limited, and I went and put a lot of effort into inquiring as to what the nature of the problem was. I wanted to create a knowledge base that would allow South Africans to understand what the problem was and to cut through a lot of the misinformation that existed at the time.
Did you feel there was that misinformation and not many people doing anything about it?
Absolutely. In January, the service providers, some of the arborists, they themselves were busy discovering the nature of the problem, and at that point in time it wasn't there wasn't a clear understanding what the best action was in terms of treatment, because we only have local chemicals which haven't been tested for this beetle.
How serious is it to you if nothing is done? You know, nobody knows how many trees will be killed. I've heard maybe 500,000 in Joburg, which is this huge man-made forest. Are you getting a picture of what's happening?
We will lose a lot of trees. And we will lose a lot of trees over...
How do you get the app out there?
Well,
I don't know what sort of uptake you've had. Are people responding to what you've done?
Absolutely. I mean, we've targeted residents associations. The organization JUFA is working very closely with them, running practical tree walks to show the residents what the problem is. We're engaging with City Parks, scout groups, residents associations, estates, golf courses. These are the types of organizations which have got a membership that can actually distribute the information appropriately.
And this is a free app?
Yeah.
So how do people get it?
They go to their app store, iPlay, Google Play or iTunes, and they just search for Tree Survey. They download it, they register on the app, and then they literally either they log their tree, which they think is infested by the beetle, or they can select an app action that will allow us to then initiate a subsequent response, either by the local city parks or by FABI or by local service providers.
And now we heard from academics before that City Parks wasn't actually doing that much. The problem was people could notice this beetle in their garden, but then what do? Who comes and cuts down the tree? Where do you take it to? Is there a better response from local authorities now?
Look, the institutions are responding, however they are moving slowly.
And is it rewarding? I mean, we talk about in this country Tumamida, get involved. You are doing that. Absolutely.
It's wonderful to walk through the streets, to meet residents. The councillors have become involved, to literally actually be part of the community, and we're hoping we can develop a model that will allow us to scale that, because whilst we are pioneering a lot of what we're doing in Johannesburg, this is a national problem, and we need to repeat it in Durban, Pietermaritzburg, George, Knysna, Stellenbosch, Cape Town.
The beetle bringing people together, in fact.
Exactly.
So looking at the data, I don't know how much you have now. Can you give us any idea? Are you getting a sense of areas affected, maybe even if it's just in Johannesburg right now, but are we building that sort of map of the country?
For sure. So the launch of the app, which we did essentially on Spring Day, resulted in 300 people immediately registering on the app. They've all been submitting their reports. The reports is literally allows you to have a geolocated incident, which is then accompanied by photographs. We encourage people to take photographs so that we can actually verify if it is the shot-hole borer. And the maps that we have of the country show a distribution that is aligned with what we are expecting, but we need to penetrate into some of the communities that don't know about the problem, because if it exists there, they need to then start reporting it, and then it will start appearing on our visualizations.
And presumably you can release those visualizations. Eventually we can all see exactly where this shot-hole borer is active.
Well, that's the point. So we sit on a steering committee that's run by the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestries, and they're interested in trying to identify ways to respond to the problem, and to also know where the problem exists within the country.